righty. How we doing now, George? We good? You got me over there? You got me, Brandon? All right. We get sound issues here at the Blaze. Blaze is broke. You know why they're broke? They don't have any money. You know why they don't have any money? Because you're not subscribing. You're watching it for free. You're on YouTube and Rumble instead of watching it. You know, you say you support independent broadcasters, but you don't. You don't. You can go to blazetv.com/Chad. Use promo code Chad, and you save on an annual subscription. I saw a little peeky right there, the Chad on blaze.com thing. That's if you want to go shopping. Buy some cool T-shirts. Things like I went to the White House, and all I got was this crummy T-shirt and a bag of Coke. Still my favorite. Oh, it's my favorite. What have I got coming up? All right, La Jolla this weekend. If you're scared to venture down into Southern California to hang out with me, I understand. Going to be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at the Comedy Store. Jesse Payton will be with me. It'll be a good time. But coming up, I'm excited about some stuff. I'll be in Nashville for the last 2 weeks of August. We will be taping from the Blaze studio there, so who knows what kind of technical difficulties we can get into from there, fellas. Trying to Skype that craziness in. But let's be sure to talk about some of the details we got to get into on that, on how we're going to do all that. But I'll be in Waxahachie, Texas on the 9th of September. I'd love to invite you to that show, but I can't. It's been sold out for a month. A month, I tell you. I love it when shows are sold out early and you don't have to worry about them. So then, talking about Jesse Payton, he and I are going to be in Kansas City in September for 4 nights. Kansas City, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th at the Kansas City Comedy Club. Get your tickets now. Go to ChadPratherLive.com. You go to WatchChad.com. That's where all the fun stuff is. And then over in West Fort Worth, we do a pretty cool thing, or they do a pretty cool thing over at the Railhead Barbecue. They got an outdoor deal where they have every Tuesday night they got live music. My buddy Randy Brown hosts that thing and always has some Texas musicians in. So we're going to be there that Tuesday night at Railhead over in Willow Park, Texas. That's almost like it's right between Fort Worth and Weatherford if you're driving out I-20. So you'll see it. And then, of course, I'm headed to Mills, Wyoming, Leeds, South Dakota, going back to Granbury, going to be in Texarkana, going to be in Abilene, Birmingham, Alabama in October, back at the Stardome. Tons of stuff coming up. Terrell, Texas, Cleveland, Texas. Man, Tulsa. Forgot I'm going to be at the Looney Bin in Tulsa. That's going to be in November, back in Shawnee, Oklahoma. Marble Falls on the 18th of November. Gosh, I forget about all these places. I'm excited about it. Going to be Little Rock at the Looney Bin in December, and then St. Cloud, Florida, over there with you bunch of rednecks in Florida. That ought to be a fun one over there. That's in December. So it's a full year. I have a lot of people, Brandon, they always say, man, you're busier than ever. I'm like, no, I'm really not. I'm good at making it look busy. My schedule is a lot easier these days than what it used to be. I used to be, Party Foul Steve and I were always on the plane, 5 cities in a week. It was crazy. So our travel now is a whole lot easier. I still have people in the live chat who want to know what happened to Party Foul Steve and Hot News Natalie and all that. It's like, you guys really haven't been keeping up at all. At all. But of course, then again, there's people on social media who get shocked if I mention divorce. And that's a few years old, people. That right there ought to tell you how real social media censorship is. The fact that I've been divorced going on, 2.5 years, almost 3 years, and nobody knows it. Or a lot of people who truly pay attention, but there's a lot of people out there who don't know it. And it's like, used to be I could make a quick video sitting in the cab of my truck, 30 million people would watch it, boom, there it was, and everybody was abreast of whatever I was thinking in my mind on that any particular given day. These days, you're doing good to get 20,000 people to view it. Dude, it's insane how the game has changed. And how many people out there don't even know we have this podcast? I came to a revelation, Brandon. Came to a revelation this past week. This is a podcast.
Yeah.
It's a podcast.
It is.
We shoot it for television. And a lot of people are like, so what is it? Is it a TV show or is it a podcast? This is a podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to call it a podcast. It is what it is. Yes, we're on every day of the week. And I get sick of my own voice, but this is a podcast, and I'm proud of it. It's done well, and I'm glad you're a part of it. And if you would do me the wonderful favor of going to where podcasts are offered and leaving a rating and a review, 5-star rating, and leave us a good positive review. That'd be fantastic. It helps us in the rankings. And who knows, I'm listing off my schedule. At some point in time, I have to do some contract negotiations with the Blaze, and I hope next year I'm still with you. We'll see. I texted the president of the network a couple of weeks ago, and I said, do I still have a show here next year? And he goes, absolutely. And I was like, I can read the sarcasm. What I want to do, though, is if you give a full shot of the studio here, what I want to do, they ask about redesigning the studio. And you see our Fort Worth backdrop back here. That's a picture of an actual Fort Worth deal, street right there. I think that's 3rd Street right there at 3rd and Commerce. And I think we ought to just do like a barren wasteland, like somebody dropped the bomb.
Just the post of like Hiroshima? Just
post-apocalyptic, people's just their images just burned into the shadows on the wall.
Just the little spot they leave after they get wiped away by the nuclear blast.
Just the whole thing, because that's where we're headed. That's where we're headed. I mean, that's where the whole deal is going. And I don't know. But Blaze has been so good to me. We're going on 5 years. I'm getting introspective on this show. 5 years of doing this show. I started podcasting with my buddy Heath Oakes. We did a show called Second Shot, and that was independently done. We did 52 episodes, 52 weeks of that. And then I started the Chad Prather show. I was with Podcast One. I was with them for about a year, and then I came over. So I don't know where we are in episodes at this point in time.
I think this one will be 847 or 848.
847. Yeah. You would think we would have done 1,000 at this point, but time drags on.
Well, if you count the overtimes, we're just about there.
Yeah, but we can't count those.
No.
We got to do the episode numbers, and we've got to do something for the 1,000th episode.
Oh, we're going to blow it out.
If they don't fire me. I want chicks and guns and fire trucks.
Yeah.
I want,
I'd like to have a show last more than 6 months, too, so I'm hoping that also.
Yeah, your track record's been interesting.
Yeah, I don't need to go 0 for 2.
No. You'll be okay. You'll be all right. I think we've got some longevity. I think this show's got legs, I tell you. It's got legs. We're going to sit here and bitch. Listen, guys, I want to tell you something. Here's what I want to get to. We could talk about the things I've done. Listen, I've got about 9 different businesses that I run. I'm in the entertainment business, okay? Whether it's social media, live on the stage, doing this kind of thing, doing the record deals and the music and the comedy with Based Records, writing songs, putting stuff out there. I get to live a dream. I really do. I want to encourage you guys to live your dream. And what I mean by that is I want you to see beyond the boundaries of your life, because everybody out there, when I start talking to them about how to chase your dreams, it's without fail, people will always tell me the reasons why they can't accomplish them. I'm working on a book. I want to put this book out there. I've got a book already written that I need to put out there, but I'm going to put that on the back burner because I'm working on a new book called The Spirit of Poverty. The Spirit of Poverty. And the premise is I can't talk you out of it. I can't talk you out of being broke. I can't talk you out of being unsuccessful. But you sure as hell can talk yourself into it. You can talk yourself into poverty. You can talk yourself into failure. You can talk yourself into rejection. You can talk yourself into being fat. You can talk yourself into being ugly. It's amazing to me how powerful negative forces are. And one of the most negative things that we have is what comes out of our mouth. When you are constantly putting negative stuff out into the world, the universe, the cosmos, whatever, the rhythm of life, you constantly gravitating towards the negative, you will talk yourself into it. So I'm working on this thing that basically says, hey, if you want to be unsuccessful, I can't talk you out of that. If you want to be broke, I can't talk you out of that. Now, I can help you I have people who come to me all the time. They want some coaching or some advice or something like that because I have been reasonably successful in business, in particularly the entertainment business, but in other avenues as well. And most of that comes from just knowing human nature. I know how people are going to respond to things. I know how people are going to react. When I got on Facebook in 2007, it immediately was a sociological project for me. I wanted to see what triggered people. I wanted to see what made them laugh. I wanted to see what made them think and speak out. I wanted to see what made them spend their money, what upset them, what got them talking, what their point. And for me, social media has never been anything more than a sociological experiment to watch how people react to things. And if you watch that, you'll learn. And one of the biggest things that I've learned is how people gravitate towards the negative. If you do this experiment, I did it just this week. I posted a picture Monday morning of me in the gym with my shirt off. And I said, hey, I've been through a lot of stuff. The quietest place, what I have found, Brandon, the quietest place to do some good thinking is a hotel gym.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody goes.
Yep.
The hotel will be sold out. Nobody's in the gym. It's amazing to me. Nobody goes to the hotel gym because they don't want to better themselves. They don't want to get into all that.
Nope.
They just want to be like, and I love how, the people at the front desk when you're checking in, they always tell you where the fitness center is. And I'm like, how often are you just wasting your breath? These people aren't going to go. I go, and it's a great quiet place to go. So I posted a picture of some progress. I've lost some weight, put on a little more muscle. It's always a progress. And I said, hey, the quietest place in the hotel is the gym. It's a great place to do some thinking. It's a great place to come up with excuses. I said, I've got excuses. 50 years old, divorced, twice, actually. You wonder what the kids are doing. I've had gout. I've had arthritis. I've had multiple abdominal surgeries. I've had multiple arm surgeries. I've still got a dislocated shoulder that I'll have for the rest of my life. Unless they do surgery on that and put it back together. And at my age, they're just simply not going to do that. I could list all these various things. I've struggled with weight. I live on the road. I don't have a home life to speak of because I'm never home. I've got bad food that is thrust in front of me. And I was like, so I could sit here in the gym and I could keep coming up with excuses, or I can work out and try to make myself better. And that's the thing. Most people want to do everything they can to talk themselves out of it because they focus so much on the negative excuses. Well, I put that picture out there and people were like, Chad, are you struggling with these things? Are you having a dark night of the soul? And I was like, no, I'm telling you, I've overcome these things. I daily overcome these things because I'm not going to let myself talk myself into failure. I'm not going to do it. But the amount of hate that comes your way just by posting a picture of yourself with no shirt on, and they're like, this narcissist, I used to like him. I don't like him anymore. He's so full of himself. And it's like, no, I'm just proving the point that you actually hate yourself so much that you can't stand to see anybody else that really is comfortable in their own skin. And I'm happy to be transparent and vulnerable and share with you my scars and battle stories. I'll share all that stuff with you. I'll talk about my failures. That's why people's like, oh, if you knew the real Chad Prather, you wouldn't like him. Well, there's a good chance that you wouldn't. I don't know. But I'm not going to live my life worried about that because I've done a lot of crazy stuff. A lot of stuff that you wouldn't approve of. But the funny thing is I've never lived trying to gain your approval. What I'm trying to do is live my life approving of myself, approved by God, and the one I'll give an account to one day. And so I just tell people, I was like, listen, you want to be successful? You better learn how to get comfortable in your own skin. You better learn how to dream and get a vision to see beyond your boundaries. And you need to learn to stop talking yourself out of it. Stop talking yourself out of it. I'm not done talking about this. I want to talk about it some more. All right, right now the world's changing in a lot of uncomfortable ways. You see what happened in Hawaii. You got natural disasters. You got political and economic disasters. You got to be prepared for anything to happen at a moment's notice. Listen, you're not going to get a warning. It's not a movie. The rock isn't coming to save you. That's why the smartest thing you can do is invest in emergency food from My Patriot Supply. Go to preparewithchad.com. They are offering an extremely deep discount on their popular 3-month emergency food kit. 25% savings. That's the biggest discount they offer, and it doesn't come around every day, so don't pass it up. I want you to act now. Grab your 25% discount on each of the 3-month kits that you need, and get one for every person in your family. You're not going to regret it. Go to preparewithchad.com. You'll save 25% today. No promo code. Just go to the site, preparewithchad.com. Order it. We'll be right back. Just to encourage you. Because you get enough negative stuff thrown your way. I get that you want to be negative yourself, but you get a lot of negative stuff thrown your way. Can we play a couple of these Maui clips? Because my heart is broken over this deal, and the more we find out, the worse it gets. These are some clips from earlier in the week. Play clip number 5, please.
Can you speak to the issue of ongoing communications? In the earliest crisis, that was a problem and people getting information, whether it was the warning systems or any of that. But with towers down and difficulty, how much is the inability to communicate with the citizens, with each other, still an ongoing part of what you're dealing with, and what can be done to augment communication capabilities?
No, I can't speak to the initial communications and the warning. What we are really focused on right now is making sure that we do have continuous communication to help people understand what resources are available, what the next steps in the process are going to be, and where they can go to get more information.
Don't you love the political doublespeak? I can't speak to the communication failure, but we want to make sure the communication continues.
Yeah, like what isn't that literally your job? Like, what is the point of these people?
Yeah, I mean, you can't speak to it. That's literally what you do.
Yeah, I'm going to have a press conference to tell you I have nothing to say.
Yeah, your Federal Emergency Management Association. You are literally, that's why you get paid a salary.
Yeah, it's the one time.
Yeah. I mean, this is your moment to shine, to share some answers with the American people. And you say, I can't speak to that? Why the hell are we having a press conference? You're exactly right, Brandon. Why are we doing this right now? Why are we sitting here? She asked you a question. What can be done? There was a failure. Now what can be done? Well, I can't speak to that, but we want to make sure the communication stays up.
Not even we're investigating. Just, I don't know, but we'll figure it out.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a fire. Shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and they wonder why people are like, are you sure it was just a random fire? Because you don't even know why we couldn't communicate there was a fire.
Yeah.
So...
and you know what? We listen to that stuff. It goes in one ear, out the other. We don't even pay it. We don't hold these people accountable. Like, okay, you don't have an answer, then you shouldn't have a job. That's simple. There's a failure, and the buck's got to stop somewhere. Play clip number 6.
Does he want to travel there eventually to survey the damage and meet survivors?
So obviously I don't have anything to announce at this time. Look, we're going to continue to have conversations with the administrator, certainly the governor in Hawaii, on what the opportunities might be, what that may look like for a trip. But right now we just don't have anything to share.
She fascinates me. How she just always seems so exhausted to get to the question. Like she just ran there to answer it. Listen, there's no plans right now. I don't think that that's going to happen. But we'll just keep you abreast of what. No, Joe Biden's not going to Maui. And again, I don't think he needs to jump right on the plane and go. I said that earlier this week. I don't think that he needs to do that because that becomes a mess. Let's let these people clean up their lives and clean up the tragedy and see what all's going on. And then let's go from there. Now, does that mean he just needs to walk around issuing a no comment to the press all the time? I mean, anyway, this guy, he is a bubble and there's nothing inside. Play clip number 7.
On Hawaii, how does the White House respond to critics who have suggested that the president should not have been vacationing at the beach over the weekend as the Maui crisis became the worst wildfire in a century?
So a couple of things, and I've said this multiple times. The president is certainly deeply concerned about the people in Maui. to the point where he has mobilized a whole of government approach here, as he has done many times to deal with these wildfires in Hawaii. From the beginning, you've heard directly from the administrator. From day one, FEMA has been on the ground dealing with this. There's more than 300 personnel, FEMA personnel. We've talked about the 50,000 meals. We've talked about the 75,000 liters of water, the thousands of cots that are out there and blankets. And there is more than a dozen federal agencies who are dealing with this issue right now that we're currently seeing in Maui, and it is a devastating sight.
Yeah, that's always scary. I'm from the government. I'm here to help. I mean, there's tons of bureaucrats out there. There's federal agencies. There's all kinds of stuff. Oh, and we sent them cots, blankets and cots, and $700. But Joe Biden's on vacation. The question is, does Joe Biden? The question, if you missed it, again, she was so out of breath to be able to answer because her job is so damn hard. She has to answer questions from the press. Does it not a problem here that Joe Biden's still on vacation? That he's consistently going on vacation while this is a national tragedy that is happening in Hawaii. We sent him cots and some water.
Yeah, why is the president allowed to go on vacation? Like it's only 4 years, right? Like shouldn't the president not have time to go on vacation?
One would think you should kind of be, all hands on deck.
I've always found it odd that like you're the president. I feel like you don't get vacations in that position.
I tend to agree with you on that. I understand if you want to take a couple of days, go out to Camp David or something like that and just kind of relax and get out of the public eye and still do business. But, Joe's not sitting. And again, even if you're playing golf, I don't care if you're Donald Trump or Barack Obama, who they spend a lot of time on the golf course. At least on the golf course, you can talk about some things. You could still talk about some policy. You could talk about some business. Did they? I don't know. I have to assume they probably did. I just don't think Joe's out there snoozing on Rehoboth Beach. I mean, we've seen the images of him out there in the recliner, in his little lawn chair out there reclining, snoozing under his tent. Not a lot of stuff's being handled in regards to that. But no, I agree. You got 4 years, dude. You got 4 years. I know you need a little respite from the public eye every now and then, but this guy lives on vacation. The American people have been played, y'all. So I understand. I understand why we gravitate back to what I was saying earlier. We gravitate towards so much negative stuff because we're being fed negative stuff all the time. And you got a country that's going to hell in a handbasket. You got a president and his administration. They're everybody in there is a diversity hire of some kind. Nobody's qualified to run this country anymore. And I don't think they have the best interest for the American people at heart. So what do? We sit there at each other's throats and try to find negative things about each other. Oh, boy. We're a real special breed, I tell you. A real special breed. But here we are. Like they should put like a little an ankle monitor, a tracker on Joe Biden. So you could just see how slow he moves. You know what I mean? Just like, Joe's on the move again.
Like the map in Harry Potter where you can just like follow him around the White House as he wanders around to various offices he's not supposed to be in.
Yeah, what's Joe? Why is Joe in that room? I mean, like seriously, I wonder. It is, it's at the time of this taping. It's 2:00 in the afternoon Central. I want to know what Joe is up to. It's 3:00 in Washington, D.C.
Probably wandering to the daycare.
Yeah, I want to know what Joe is up to. He's probably on his second nap. Probably he's going to have his dinner, the blue plate special, start winding things down a little bit and head off into the evening time to have him a little ice cream and a nightcap, and then he's off to bed. He ain't shagging Jill, I can tell you that. Yeah, Jill's not getting a thrill, I can assure you of that. Unless she's stooping Hunter or somebody.
It's
I mean,
true.
Hunter seems to sling it around everybody in the family.
She could have a boy toy. That wouldn't shock me.
Nah, it wouldn't shock me. She probably dug him off. She's probably with the first husband.
I mean, he does seem like the cuckolding type. You think Kamala loans him out?
Probably.
Yeah.
I think he's probably a good solid cuck himself.
I mean, look, Kamala knows that she's taken one for the team to get to further her career. Why wouldn't her husband?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You go in there and you give Jill a thrill, Doug.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows? To worry about Jill's sex life. But then again, you talk about an unsexy woman. I mean, she's wearing a bedspread. Every one of her dresses, it looks like somebody's summer curtains.
I remember that one, yeah.
From 1950, you know? But, yeah. You know what you got to do? You got to keep making fun of it, folks. You got to keep mocking it. All right. Hey, listen, you've heard me talk about Liver Health Formula. It's a pretty cool supplement, and they've sold like 2 million bottles. So if you've been taking it, thanks for doing that. It's extremely popular, and a lot of people wonder why. Well, the American Liver Foundation says that 100 million Americans have a fatty liver. I'm going to brag on my brother. My brother, Tommy, he's got a masonry business, Meacham Masonry, there in Augusta, Georgia. And they said, man, you got some liver issues. You got to get it dealt with. Tommy's lost 100 pounds now. He was retaining so much fluid. His liver was really messed up. And so they were able to get all that alleviated, get it all taken care of. He started taking this Liver Health Formula, and he loves it. His doctor loves that he's on it. So there's a lot of people out there dealing with this, and they're searching for help. And we throw stuff at our livers, and I'm the world's worst about it. You know, cholesterol, alcohol, toxins, Tylenol, statins, cigarettes. I don't smoke cigarettes, but I do smoke cigars every now and then. Listen, our liver is dealing with a ton of stuff, so it's no wonder we have a sluggish, fatty liver. We gain weight. You feel tired all the time. And so your liver has helped you perform over 500 key functions every day to keep you healthy. Your liver does that for you. Now it's time to help your liver. Liver Health Formula, all-natural supplement, contains 12 clinically proven botanicals that help recharge and protect your liver. And the listeners of our show, they can take advantage of a special offer. You try Liver Health Formula, and they'll give you a free bottle of omega-3 to keep your heart healthy as well. So join their happy customer list by visiting getliverhelp.com/Chad, and you'll also get the free bonus gift. That's getliverhelp.com/Chad. We'll be right back. Mercy, mercy, mercy. I put a video out earlier this week that said, you know, you guys are holding on so tight, some of you need an enema. And I had an enema there in the truck, a Fleet Cinema, you know. People were like, why do you have that? If y'all can flush your asses out. You're too uptight, people. Relax. Chill. Go parse the verbs of a country song, you know. I mean, go out there and diagram and find out the exact meaning. Dude, it's so weird to me that everything, you would think, like a movie like Sound of Freedom comes out, and you would think that everybody in America would be like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. There are trafficking rings in the world, and we need to shut them down. We need to get rid of them. Instead of saying, no, this is a QAnon conspiracy, Lord, or we need to... What the hell are y'all talking about? You know, this Oliver Anthony sings this song and it goes viral and everybody's like excited for him. And you would think that everybody in America could say, you know what? That's really cool, man. That's the American story right there, that anything can happen at any given time and boom, your whole world changes. You would think people would be excited about that. No, we got to politicize everything. We got to pull him down and call him some kind of an ideologue or something. It's like, this dude don't know nothing from nothing about nothing. He just singing a song. And boom, everybody started liking it. And, oh, well, the wrong people liked it. That's the problem. And you know, you would look at this, the Maui tragedy, the fires, and you would say, man, we really ought to pull together on this thing instead of saying, oh, pointing the finger and blaming and all that kind of stuff. Well, you know, we really should come together and say, listen, the federal government, maybe they're not going to help these folks out the way that they should. You know, you hear Karine Jean-Pierre talk about, oh, we're sending cots and blankets. I mean, Mercury One right here, our very own Mercury One is doing a lot. We got boots on the ground right now that are doing things. Maybe get behind these independent charities like Mercury One who have the opportunity to go out there and truly make a difference because they're interacting directly with the people without a bunch of third-party middlemen, bureaucrats in the middle that are stifling the flow and the stuff that is intended to go to help these people in the middle of a tragic situation is not being funneled off somewhere. You look at this Trump indictment, you would think that everybody in America would mourn. Like if Trump is some kind of horrible, Luciferian, satanic, evil villain, then, and he's done all of these things. Here's what I know about Trump. Let me just give you a little nutshell. Here's a guy who was praised and lauded by everybody in the entertainment industry. They loved him. And then he decided to run for president, spent billions of his own money, and never even took a salary, right? Never even took a salary. And they're trying to paint him as public enemy number one because he wants to investigate if it was a truly fair election in 2020. Vilified, hated, set up as a monster, called everything under the sun, being accused of being a racist and all of this nonsense. It's made up. It's fabricated. It's a garbage narrative, all of this stuff. And so I have a hard time believing that the guy is public enemy number one and truly hates America and wants to bring America down. Does he say everything right, the right way all the time? No, he doesn't. Absolutely not. But if he's truly a villain, then you know what? We ought to celebrate the fact that the American justice system is doing its job and getting rid of these wild-eyed politicians that really want to screw you and me, these people like Donald Trump. But if you look at the facts, you look at the people who have been in Washington, D.C., who have been there for decades, generation after generation. The Mitch McConnells, the Lindsey Grahams, the Dianne Feinsteins, the Gerald Nadlers, the Joe Bidens, the Nancy Pelosi's. I mean, these people who have been somehow relevant since Kennedy was still alive. And they've, they come out, they make $175,000 a year, and they got tens upon tens of millions of dollars in their bank accounts. And I'm supposed to be looking at Donald Trump as being public enemy number one? We ought to be mourning this situation. If this is truly what America has come to in these indictments against Trump, we ought to come together and be like, this is sad. This is a sad day for America. If this is a political witch hunt, we should be concerned with that. We should be angry about that. We should be pissed off. We should be speaking out against it. But if this is truly the Department of Justice doing its job and doing it in a right way, then we should celebrate that. But you and I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, you and I both know the Department of Justice isn't fair. It's a two-tier justice system, to say the least. And they're not giving an honest shake to anybody in America right now. They're not. When you look and you see that criminals can get away, with a slap on the wrist. When you look at the things like Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell's list that's still not being revealed, and they keep that hidden, there's a problem. Whenever they resealed, you talk about JFK, they resealed JFK's assassination stuff.
Oh, yeah. After Donald Trump said multiple times, we're going to release it all, the CIA went, the hell you will.
Yeah.
And people are still like, no, the official story is fine. Nothing bad happened.
We'll stick with that.
Like, yeah, okay, they've kept documents hidden for 70 years because nothing bad happened.
Yep. So let's reseal it for another 60.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, you can't look at this yet.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that right there ought to tell you there's something going on. The American government, there's a lot of things they don't want you to know. And I don't trust them.
Yeah, I'm so mad that we're at the point where, like, UFO disclosure is close, and I can't even get excited about it because I know they're just trying to bury something else.
Something else. You'll never know the full
UFO
truth.
Disclosure for decades, literally my entire life, and now I'm just like, well, this is obviously fake.
Yep.
Yeah. On the Trump thing, what happens if they jail him? Like, actually put him in prison? Because, like, Steve Deace has talked about, Donald Trump might not be allowed to be on the ballot.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works exactly.
Well, you could still vote for him.
Like, would he just be a write-in candidate at that point?
He could still be on the ballot. There's some things they could do, but I mean, he could still be on the ballot. You could definitely do a write-in, but they're going to have conservatives. They're going to have conservatives. They're going to have Republicans so screwed up at the ballot box, they're not going to know what to do, and we're going to wind up handing this back to another Biden administration or whoever they run as a Democrat. I think they really are at this stage hoping Joe Biden just stays alive and doesn't have a complete and total stroke.
Yeah, you think they try and get him reelected and then knock him off like the first month in?
He's a puppet that works,
Yeah.
He's a puppet that works, and I think they're really hoping because again, he's not in control of anything. He's not doing anything. I mean, he is 100% completely a figurehead, and that's being kind to even call him that. But, if you do get into a bunch of write-in votes or whatever, they know that they've got the American people so confused and so discombobulated and just, just splintered off in all these different ways that it's going to be, for lack of better terms, it's going to be a shit show in November of 2024 at the ballot box. Absolute shit show. Hey, guys, we've been working with Relief Factor for a long time. And years ago, the folks over at Relief Factor, they came up with this unknown anti-inflammatory, and they brought it to the marketplace. They tested it out in Seattle, which was their hometown. They found that it had this amazing ability to reduce pain, and it was useful for many different types of chronic ailments. I use Relief Factor because it's an all-natural alternative to pain medications. It'll keep you pain-free, and it works on the inflammation in your body. Now, inflammation is not only the chief cause of pain, but it's also a factor in many other diseases. And I know that Relief Factor is always working to keep my inflammation markers in check because it works. Now, there's hundreds of thousands of people who order Relief Factor every month. About 70% go on to reorder it because they know it works, and it works for them so consistently that they keep getting it. Now, I'm going to get you a trial pack. You can get it for $19.95, and you can see if it works to help you reduce the pain. So I want you to go to relieffactor.com, or you can call them at 800-4-RELIEF. That's relieffactor.com. Relief Factor. Feel the difference. We'll be right back. But, Brandon, what's going to be bad is, here's what's going to happen, because you got a lot of people that all they did was serve honorably. There's some good men and women out there that are now being indicted because they had a job in the Trump administration. And, again, they're guilty by association, and they're going to keep pushing these people. They're pushing these indictments because the people who are doing it, just like we played the Fulton County DA earlier in the week, is just giddy with excitement. These people are climbing a political ladder. They know the quickest way for them to do that is to push this indictment against Trump. And what's going to happen is good men and women out there across America who should be running for office, who should be engaged in the political game, who should be, changing things for the better, they're just not going to be a part of it. Because why be a part of it? Why go out there? Being in politics is hard enough. Running for office is hard enough. You're living under a magnifying glass, under a microscope, and you get your life just picked apart. Well, now, if you could be accused of some kind of criminal injustice and be indicted and even go to jail, why in the hell would you put yourself or your family through that? So a lot of people are just going to say, we're done with this thing. Turn it over to the scumbags that are already there, and let's let these power-hungry bureaucrats that are trying to climb the political ladder, let's just let them have it. And you know what we're going to have? The entirety of America is going to look like downtown San Francisco. It's going to look like Baltimore. It's going to look like Atlanta. It's going to look like Detroit. It's going to look like Chicago. It's going to look like New York City. It's going to look like L.A. It's going to look like Seattle. It's going to look like Portland. It's going to look like a shit hole. And they're okay with that because they got their position. And with their position, they got their power. And that power corrupts. And those corrupt people are going to let the country go completely down the drain. And good men and women sat back and did nothing because they could do nothing. You put yourself out there, you know, you get your head cut off. Politically, you get your head cut off. And I'm pretty sure if these folks had their way, they would physically cut your head off as well.
I mean, that feels like the next logical step.
Yeah, I mean, we're about to have a French Revolution here. I mean,
Donald Trump is, for all intents and purposes, being assassinated.
Yeah, it's an assassination. I mean, they started with a character assassination years ago, and it's just these people have no problem with any of that stuff.
I think it's now 91 counts total he's been indicted with. Like that's dying jail time.
Yeah. So, you know, here we are. And again, you ask any average person out on the street who wants these indictments to be in place and who says Donald Trump should be in jail. You ask the average person, stick a microphone in their face, any town in America, and say, is this what you want? They'll say yes, and say, why? Tell me what he did. That most of them can't answer you. They have no idea why these indictments are even being issued out. Boy, oh boy. Hey, clip number 14. Pull that thing up. I want to watch that.
Billions of dollars wasted on folks who have no connection to our city. And we know who's really to blame. The author of all of our woes. And he sits in the White House and his name is Joe Biden. We're sending a message to him and him today that his time in that office is numbered. This would never happen if Donald Trump was president of the United States.
Yeah, basically they're talking about what's happening at the border. They're talking about what's happened with this mass migration, this illegal entry, this invasion, let's call it what it is. See, that's the thing. You would think that everyone in America would look at the border situation and the millions of people coming across, the human trafficking, the murder, the rape, the horrible humanitarian crisis which has happened at the southern border, and you would think that, hey, we would unify together, look at something like the cartels and be like, this has got to stop. It's got to end. But again, we can't come together on anything because, again, common sense has been tossed out. And we're so, you just want to harm all of these poor refugees that are coming to our southern border for an opportunity for freedom. No. And we're actually trying to save lives. You are propagating a system that is causing these lives to be lost. It's unsustainable. And you say, oh, you're so mean. Well, I'm willing to sound mean, but you're actually killing people. You're seeing lives destroyed and used. I mean, you can rent kids in order to come to the border, and then they re-rent them to other people. And God knows what's happening to these kids on this journey. So, again, mean old Republicans, I tell you. Mean old Greg Abbott. He put those border buoys in the river. They potentially might drown somebody.
Yeah.
Don't cross the river.
I was about to say, there's an easy way to avoid them.
Yeah, don't cross the river. All right. I don't smoke cigarettes, but they reached out to me recently with a new sponsor, and they said, would you be interested in pushing this? I was like, yeah, because it may help some people. And there's a lot of you out there, maybe you want to quit smoking, and you don't want to stop just cold turkey, and, it's a hard way to break a habit. So you don't want to go to the hypnotist. You don't want to get a voodoo doll or anything like that. But I want to introduce you to my new sponsor. They're called Fume, F-U-M, Fume. And they look at this whole idea of stopping smoking in a different way. Not everything in a bad habit is wrong. So instead of a drastic, uncomfortable change, why not just remove the bad stuff from the habit? So Fume is actually an innovative, award-nominated device that does just that. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. Instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. Yeah. And instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses all natural, delicious flavors. So instead of bad, Fume is good. It's a habit you're free to enjoy, and it makes replacing your bad habit a little bit easier. So Fume comes with an adjustable airflow dial, and it's designed with movable parts and magnets for fidgeting, give your fingers a lot to do. And believe it or not, people like to have something going on with their fingers. That's another reason why people smoke. And it's a de-stressor, right? And it helps with your anxiety. And this will actually give you a way to break your habit as well. So I checked this thing out, and I was like, I could see why this would help a whole lot of people. And people are stopping these bad habits by using Fume. So maybe you've been putting it off. Maybe it's been too hard for you. Well, switch over to Fume. You might find it easy, enjoyable, and even fun. Fume has served over 100,000 customers. They got thousands of success stories. There's no reason you can't be one of them. Join Fume in accelerating humanity's breakup from destructive habits by picking up the Journey Pack today. Head over to TryFume. That's TRYFUM. TryFume.com. Use promo code CHAD. I spell it Chad. Save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. That's TryFUM.com. Use promo code Chad and save that additional 10% off your order today. TryFume.com. Use code Chad, and we'll be right back. Yeah, boy. Man, social media, it knows how to target me with ads, dude.
It's gotten so good.
Bro, it really has. Really has. I hope my ads are working in Southern California to get people out to the Comedy Store this weekend. I had this real pious view for years and years. I was like, I'll never spend a dime with social media. And now I spend a lot of dimes with social media to push the live shows and other things that are going on. And, man, I appreciate people who come to those shows. I will always try to do live shows because it removes any filter between me and the audience. Nobody can censor it. You can't stop it. It's just my words coming out of my brain and mouth into your ears and into your brain. It's a transference of ideas, and it's fun, and that's why I like to do it. So I appreciate you guys coming out. If you want to find me out on the road, go to ChadPratherLive.com. You guys doing anything fun this weekend? Y'all even plan that stuff out?
I might actually go catch Alex's show on Friday.
Where's he going to be?
I think he's at Hyenas.
Hyenas over in Dallas. That's right. My buddy Jesse Payton, I think he's open for him a few times. Jesse will be with me in California. So, yeah, y'all get out and see Alex Stein. That's an interesting show.
He's different when he does his stand-up. His stand-up is different than him just being a maniac.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely different. Yeah. Definitely different. George, what are you going to do? Rejoin the cartels? What are you going to do? Yeah.
Busy weekend cartel.
I'm a weekend cartelier. I'm not an aficionado, but I do.
It's a side gig.
Yeah, a little side gig. Make a little side cash. But I hope you guys have a great weekend. Join us on Overtime. Subscribe to Blaze at blazetv.com/Chad. Use promo code Chad. And go in there, hit the thumbnail for the Chad Prather Show, and then find the Overtime. And don't forget, I would love to start a viral trend that's go to chadonblaze.com and get I went to the White House. All I got is crummy shirt and a bag of Coke. It's a viral shirt. Have a great weekend. We love you. God bless you. We will see you next week. Bye.